A wonderful Friday evening to you and welcome to the Feminine Drive. I am your host, Warrior Empress. On behalf of the Gael family, again, I say welcome to the Feminine Drive. How are you this Friday evening? How are you all going? How are you going? How are you doing? How was your week? Those who out of work, I think the public service gone back to 50% capacity, so some of you all home. Not so? Well, boy, what we gonna do? I can tell you one thing, complaining don't help. So we all have to adjust. Yes, that's the name of the word, adjust. All of us adjusting, you know. I don't intend to give any power to negativity. I ain't going there at all. And I urge you not to do the same. This too shall pass. Yes, man. We have to be positive, yes? We have to be positive. The thing really, and we know it are people under pressure, right? We know that. But what I'm saying now, don't feel insensitive, right? I know people under pressure. But what I'm saying, what option do we have? Giving up is not an option, and complaining does only add to your stress. Trust me. Better you meet some friend by the way and all they talk shit and laugh and, you know what I mean? You have to do something to keep your spirit alive. Because that is all you have, eh? You see that spirit within you? You need to feed that. That is what you need to keep alive. That is what will take you through. Yes, man. Have a cheerful spirit, a grateful spirit. If you have $2 in your pocket, 20, 100, whatever, be grateful. We will get through this. We have to bind together, you know. If it's a time that Trinidadians need to come together and stop the blame game, is now. We need to come together. We go get through this. We go get through this, yeah? All right. So, you know, this evening, we have two more man in the place. Yeah, we have two male guests again, right? In this series, men and their mothers. And, you know, we're bringing in the men to talk about their mothers leading up to Mother's Day. Because we know Mother's Day is a, COVID or no COVID, we know Mother's Day is a big thing throughout the world. But, you know, Mother's Day should be a big thing every single day, eh? Right? The mothers. Yeah, that is a whole conversation by itself. So, the guests and them reach early here now. And I just have a feeling I go have a lot of fun this evening because one is a comedian and one is a master drummer. And the master drummer, well, listen, I didn't think it have anybody in Trinidad and Tobago that he didn't play for, that he did not accompany on stage, from best village to vocalist. So I just feel we're going to have a real good time this evening. But we're going to go for a quick sponsor. Before you meet my guests, you'll take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we'll have Kevin Soyer and Everald Redman Watson. Stay tuned. I don't know what is the relationship with this B and me. No, seriously. All you ever see things so there's a... But what is it? This is real life TV. This is the second time this B come in studio. Uncle Era said, but what is the relationship with you and this B? Is sweet as sweet so boy?
Probably.
What it is? Hello? Nah, boy. And only when the Empress is in the studio, he said, I never see that B yet. Anyway, back to the show. What you know here? Kevin Soyer dying with laughing.
You can't make this up. What
we gonna do?
Listen, this is real TV, you know. I can't help it. So, Redman, where were we? I'm talking about you being a master drummer,
yes,
a prolific drummer, and your involvement with almost every cultural group in Trinidad and Tobago, right?
Yes.
And tell us how, a little bit, before we go into the mommy thing, how has COVID, the COVID-19 pandemic, obviously affected, you know, your flow?
It has affected it greatly, I will tell you this.
Yes,
I mean, I'm
talk the things then, talk the truth.
Like it is.
Yes.
And it is not the same for me. It is the same for all artists worldwide.
Yes.
Remember, my vibe is playing for artists out there.
Yeah.
My vibe is teaching in schools.
Nice.
Being a part of shows and everything that I do is locked down.
Yeah, boy.
I have had the pleasure of doing one or two little things in between,
yeah,
but nothing much to talk about. So we had to survive.
Must survive, boy.
You have to live. You have to have a mindset to stay with it and stick with it.
Yes. You ever hear about the middle passage?
Exactly.
So I think we had the genes.
Yes.
We go survive. We go
So
survive.
we had to make it work.
Yes.
I mean, most of the artists who I work for locked down just like me.
Yeah.
One of my greatest joys in the drum right now is working with kids and at no school. Most of the children's groups that I work with.
So tell us what you do to keep sane. What you do?
Just get myself involved in stuff.
Yeah.
I watch my little TV and think when the time comes, I go on my little YouTube and I watch stuff and I do things. I do think I have had the pleasure of being, invited to do 1 or 2 little lives.
Yes.
Where my drum is concerned, and that has been a pleasure.
Yeah. The virtual have its positives, and I go swing that to Kevin now, asking you the same question because you're in the comedian area, and it has affected you as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
Definitely affected me. It's been rough for a lot of creatives, and I fairly new because I've been probably at the point in time at the beginning of 2020 I would have been 3 years into theater, 2 years into comedy, and so new. Just had a couple,
No getting your foot wet.
Yeah, and building this community of people, the creators I was really close to, and having these opportunities open.
Right.
Doing bigger and bigger shows and having greater and greater platforms, and then this thing hit. And also using the income from performing to supplement your income and that kind of thing and take care of yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was definitely a hard hit. I mean, a lot of people have been adapting, and I think I'm not ashamed to say I still kind of trying to find my way. I think a lot of people still trying to find their way.
Talk the truth, yeah.
You gotta find your way in this time, and a lot of things aren't exactly the same. I've done quite a couple of virtual shows.
Nice.
It's not the same as the audience.
Can't be the same, boy. That energy.
Yeah, you have the same energy.
Do you have a job otherwise?
Yeah.
Well, thank God for that.
Yeah, I have a job otherwise. I keep the light on, you know. And so I have that, and I still have gotten to do comedy, and then I also ventured. I challenged within the pandemic. I decided to try spoken word.
Well, I know about that.
So
nice.
I ventured into spoken word, and I got to do that. It was under different circumstances, and the National Poetry Slam, it was a little different.
I looked at that FCB Poetry Slam.
Yeah, so it was a little different because it didn't have the audience, but it was my first time, and I came second.
Of course, congratulations.
I pour it all out there.
I watched the piece, man.
Yeah, so
there
were good things that came out of it, great opportunities. And
pulling a little change there.
Yeah,
I have looked at it as well.
Cha-ching, pulling a little, of course. So you know, it worked out nice for some people. You understand? So again, we have to, as I said in the opening, we as creatives, we have to stay together. Regardless of your discipline, the love and the camaraderie had to come out now. We say we love one another, we had to show it. We had a network, it had to come out. You're doing your thing, eh? Everybody had a specialty, but I'm just saying the support is necessary.
Yes.
So let we don't talk that now, let we show it. You understand?
Yes, for sure.
So Redman, you know the reason and the purpose you're here.
One time, and it's a pleasure for that one too.
Oh God.
Trust me. Yes.
Right? So, I want to first find out from you, how do you view a mother? Whether it's your mother, my mother, a mother. How do you view a woman who is a mother? Not necessarily biological, because we have people who didn't give birth to children and they are tremendous mothers out here.
As well,
right?
Yes.
So how do you look upon a person, a woman who carries that role of a mother, not just in your house, but probably, society as well?
I want to say, firstly, that I view mother, the word mother, the person mother, as God's gift to mankind and humanity.
Nice.
Simply because, yes, the mother is the one who brought us here, who gave birth to me, who carried me for that 9 months. But when you look at the fact that what a mother represents, what a mother does, how she holds life together, she holds the home together, she holds me, my brothers, my sisters, father, everybody together.
The neighbor children.
Everybody. And make it happen. That word mother, that individual mother is something very special.
Of course.
And I view it as that. God's gift to mankind.
I like how you put it.
For a purpose.
So a mother is a powerful woman.
Very much so.
Powerful, eh?
Each and
both
every one of us
spiritually
have
and physically.
We have so much stories that we could tell about mother that are so meaningful.
Yes.
That means so much and represent so much. And when you hear these things, you have no other choice but to realize, yeah, boy, mommy, boy, mother, that is what it is.
Kevin, you share the same view?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I know, listen, don't feel no way, I tell you, between two elders.
Yeah.
You bring it from your level because obviously you wouldn't have that wealth of knowledge, or you may not bring it from that level of experience, but It's still important.
So sharing and
learning. Of course.
As well. So
why you feel I put you in the center?
Right. So for me, when I think about my mother, because of my experience, my mother had to be everything. Didn't have a father growing up. So my mother had to play all the roles, and it was just, given that a mother was just everything, had to be everything, and that's what she was, and what she lacked, that the deficit was just there because nobody else was filling that. Right. It was just her. So to me, that's the role of a mother. To me, she's just everything, the provider, the counselor, the teacher, the referee, the everything.
Everything, boy.
Everything, yeah. Everything. My mother was all of it.
Everything. Yeah. And the show is not that we don't recognize Father's Day, because Father's Day coming up. But for the purpose of the show, and of course, as I said, Mother's Day is approaching, right? We are highlighting, and we want our guests, the males, to speak about mothers. So fathers, if you're on the show, don't feel how we love you the same. The Warrior check for you the same, right? But we focusing on the feminine energy for the purpose of the show, and of course for Mother's Day coming up. So as I said, I know a lot about you, as I said, Redman, in the cultural arena.
Yes.
How instrumental was your mother in your formative years, getting involved in the arts? Your mother played a role in terms of you?
My mother played a role in the beginning in being, how I should say it, negative.
Negative.
Because if you knew drumming and stuff from early times,
yes,
drumming was a block thing.
Of course.
So my mother didn't want me in drumming. I remember one night I went to a rehearsal with my partner, deceased Junior and his brother and them, in Belmont Junior Sec. I'm from Belmont. And Junior lived in Gonzales. So when the rehearsal finished and we going down the road now, I live in between the Junior Sec and Junior and them. So Junior said, well, the best thing is to leave the drum home by you. And we could pick it up tomorrow because we're going back there.
Right.
And listen to me, my dear, when my mother find out that drum there, we in St. Joseph here now, you could hear my mother making noise from here in Belmont. I don't want no drum in my house and this and my mother. So it was a tough road in that respect, but it gave me a drive because here what? And I remember telling my mother this. I said if the police was coming home here and asking for me, and you get a call that I lock up in jail, and you had to come and bail me out. Now, it's my mother talking to, so I'm very cautious, but I'm letting it out.
Right.
I saying what I had to say. I say what I've been a different story, but it's doing so much for me.
Right.
Eventually now, I did that even as a pan man as well. I started to play pan with no other band but Renegades. And for those of us who know Renegades, that was what you call badge on band.
That was the forbidden band.
Right. And I mean, my mother found out I by Renegades as well. I know it's Dr. Rat and Whitey Kincaid and all these bad men who Sparrow and them sing about. And what you doing there? Why you go tell my friends and whatever?
Yes, it was a kind of status thing.
Yes.
Yes.
So, however, when she realized that it kept me out of trouble, because I didn't have time for block and getting myself in trouble. I was always going to a rehearsal. And in later years, first again with the pan, when he started to win Panorama, I became a focal point in the band. I was drill master, setting up the band, so many different things.
Percussionist as well?
No, pan.
Oh, so it wasn't, okay.
Yeah, I at carnival time, you wouldn't know I am a drummer. I love my pan with a passion. I play, I'm a bass man. So we go down with that. When he started to win, my mother migrated to the States for some years. And every year I had to send a video cassette, an audio cassette, and 2 t-shirts
with the same mother
yes,
who talked about Dr. Rat and company, and what you're doing in Renegades, that badge on band.
Because she realized that I ain't in no trouble and it doing something, and I travel with Renegades as well too.
Right.
So when she realized that now, I had to send all these things for her. And when she meet her friends, she will tell her friends, my son plays with Renegades. You understand? So she realized then, so it was a drive that gave me an impetus to please my mother, to make my mother realize, well, look, it ain't so bad.
Nice.
The drum as well too. As I tell you, when I leave the drum home, my mother make noise and carry on, and then she realized. In later years, I worked with Derek Walcott, Trinidad Theatre Workshop.
Redman, who you work with?
Hardly anybody.
Right.
Right. She was in New York at the time, and we were in Boston. That is when Derek Walcott won the Nobel laureate. So we were out there doing shows, Dream on Monkey Mountain, Joker, Seville. We were working out.
Kevin, you're feeling lost?
No. I listening.
No.
I get what going to.
You're relating Derek Walcott?
Yes, exactly.
So
I'm a product of the CFA, no sound about Derek Walcott and them.
Yes.
All right.
So we had a weekend off, Sunday last show, and we ain't going back until Wednesday. So from the time the show finished, I jump on a bus and I head to New York to spend some time with my mother.
New York boy?
Right. And I from Boston to Brooklyn. And I had to carry a program from the show signed by Derek Walcott. I remember when I tell Derek, I carried this to my mother. Man, he signed it up nice and he put so much hearts and this and that, and he sent a t-shirt for my mother and stuff.
Very well.
And she was proud. And I didn't forget to tell my mother the night we went, she came in shopping and thing. And the night we home now, we chilling out in her apartment, and I didn't forget to tell her, I say, remember?
You reminded?
I say, remember when I started to play drum, they used to make noise with me? I say, well, watch, it's the same drum that helped me to come and look for you now.
Gosh,
because my mother was out there for some years and I missed my mother.
Right.
And I remember when I saw my mother, I cried. When the Wednesday morning, I had to catch the bus early to go back now to fall into work again. When I leave my mother, I cried tears. So
it was that close a relationship.
Yes, and I wonder if I could explain why as well too. My father died when I was about 13, 14 years.
Oh.
We went to a wedding, family, best friend, daughter get married, and when we came back from, was a Boxing Day. When we came back, my father had something to eat with my brother and myself. And my father went and lied down and got a heart attack and died.
Oh, so sorry.
And at that age, at that time, my mother became, as Kevin said just now, she became mommy and father.
Daddy. Yes, yeah.
She was the one who carried that ship and nurtured, and I ain't fooling, I give she a little trouble. I mean, I was never no bad one involved with the law and stuff, but I want to stand up for myself.
You're fresh.
Yes, I created a little opposition.
Yes.
And my mother was the one who was there for me. My mother was the one who stood up for.
And maybe that would have explained why she, you know, tried to, again, stigma, stay away from the drum, you understand, Kevin?
Exactly.
Stay away from Renegades band, because it was Renegades and Tokyo, that Bajan band. You understand? From the time you hear them two bands long time, Invaders die. So yes. I think I could understand why she, you know, don't bring that here, because she's studying trouble.
Exactly.
I don't think maybe it was so much not wanting you to get involved in the arts.
No, not so much that, because
she studied, oh gosh, I ain't have a father around.
If I had started to play pan with Starlift, because at the time, if you were of the upper class and the upper Achelans in Trinidad, and you wanted to belong to a band, Starlift was your band.
Starlift was the band?
Yes.
You ain't going to put me in that lacquery on the show, Kevin?
Yes, yes.
I switched on one time because you said that, you see that couture you're trying to put me in there, right? And Kevin, you told us about your mother having the role of both mommy and daddy. And I know single parenting could never be easy.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't start off as a single parent, but I too know about single parenting. And with, you see, when it comes to males, I tell people you have to have a firm of rule. Girls too, but you see, boys?
Yeah.
So tell us of your running in with your mom, if there was any, in terms of you wanting to get involved. In the arts and stuff? Yes, and more so, being a comedian. Because let me tell you something, the average person, you being a comedian, I mean, is a comedian you want to be?
Yeah. I hope she'll get vexed with me, but no, my mother, my mother is not...
Don't say nothing that you can't go home tonight,
Yeah.
Because me in a room.
Right. No, but definitely growing up, initially, my mom gave us, what I realized in retrospect now growing up, is that my mother gave us what she had. And, you know, she didn't really expose us to cultural things. So I'm listening to what he was exposed to and what he was around. A little envious because we didn't really have that. My mother gave us church. Right. God was what she had, because imagine being a 20-something woman. You have 3 boys and eventually 2 girls too. So she had,
she made you young.
Made us young. And, you know, and she clung on, you know, to what she felt, which was God, you know, the church and everything. So we were always
stability.
In church. Multiple times through the week we in church. We had prayer day, you had the Thursday church, you had Sunday church, you had whatever. So, and my mom was involved in church and that kind of thing. So it wasn't really that she exposed us to any arts or anything like that. I make the analogy sometimes that my mother gave us a very, very strong Christian arm, and all the other aspects of that, of our development, you know, the cultural, the social, the whatever was fini. Didn't get the developed. They had one big strong Christian arm.
A kind of imbalance.
Yeah, and everything else was kind of underdeveloped. But she gave us, as I said, what she had now.
Correct.
Yeah, so, you know, but in school and stuff, you know, teachers pick me out and put me to do things. Go and do a poem, go and play recorder, go and sing a calypso, do a little backup here and that kind of thing. So they put me in, not necessarily my mom, But the reason when I decided actually that I wanted to perform, it did come from my mom. I'd give her credit for that because my mom was, so in our little family, they used to say Anna and her Taliban. So Anna and she Taliban.
Anna and she Taliban.
That was to say my mother and her children, right? So we were her biggest fans. My mother is a singer, dancer. She could paint. She's an artist. She's everything. She's a multi-talented woman.
Anna Soyer.
Yeah.
Pleasant evening to you, Anna Soyer.
Yes, and she do it for the honor and glory of God. So she'll be in church doing these things, right? So she did dance ministry, worship team, this and that and the other. And we would always be in awe just watching our mother doing all these specials and doing all these things. And
nice.
The moment when I really had that idea to become a performer, my mom she worked in Treasury for many years, and the Treasury had a Christmas concert in Central Bank Auditorium. So she went there and they asked her to dance. So she was dancing. And she's dancing to the song Helen Baylor Gospel Artist. I think it was More Than a Friend. So she on stage that song, dancing, tit and whatever, right? And the music cut off. And, it had a technical difficulty. Music cut off. And this woman sang and danced the rest of the song.
Are you serious?
To completion. And the
that
audience,
is performance.
Yeah, the audience was going crazy. I was real small. Somebody had me in their arms upstairs watching this, right?
Wow. And
I just watched that, and the next day she was in the paper. She and the Treasury singers shared because I had to push in the papers after that. And I was like, I want to do what my mother just did for that audience.
So, Redman, you look at the influence.
Exactly.
Even though he said the teachers pick him out to do this, go and say a poem, whatever. I think your greatest influence came from your mother.
Definitely.
Because he looking at that, and I mean, I want to say that is awesome.
Yeah.
Record stop, and you on the floor, and listen, you had to think fast.
Didn't
miss a beat.
Yeah.
You sing this song and dance.
Make it happen.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
You come from good stock, boy.
So when he see that, there's no question as to why he is who he is and how he is today.
Of
Because
course.
it was great encouragement to you, I could imagine.
You get a jump start there, no?
Yeah.
You get a jump start. So what about the comedy now?
So now, I started theater and stuff like that. My mom wasn't really too involved in what I did. I mean, she maybe came to one play when I was doing them.
Right.
I started comedy later on. And she wasn't the biggest fan of comedy. She's not the biggest fan of comedy. My mom don't have that great of a sense of humor, to be honest. That's not her thing, So
where you get yours from, boy?
I don't. My grandmother probably. No, my grandmother is the next. She will have, if she was on the set, we would be screaming right now. My
Seriously?
Yeah, and she's my mother also. Because she's a really big support.
Of course, grandmothers a lot would,
Yeah, so my mom, my first ever, the first time I went on television and did stand-up comedy. Everybody was calling me, Kevin, that was real funny. Your grandfather here, want to talk to you? Kya. Mommy call, ring. Yes, Mr. Soyer, I just want you to know, be careful what you're doing. The Lord is watching, and always remember, you made some jokes about in your church days and stuff, and honor the Lord, please, and boop, that was it. She's not, but we meet each other somewhere, because when I started doing spoken word.
And that tell you, don't make me laugh funny shit.
When I started doing spoken word, she could get into that. She could call and be like, I saw the performance. I like this. This one I like. This one I like.
Yeah.
I telling them in work about you. Could you come and do a little, she like the spoken word. The comedy, not so much if you on that and thing.
I wonder if it's the jokes. You just sit harder, no, Kevin?
Some of the things, she's a much more conservative kind of lady.
Yeah,
and she's also the butt of a lot of my jokes, because a lot of me growing up getting into comedy was making fun of my mother. Because she's a very prude and proper and this and that.
Young
very
man,
easy to imitate.
You have to go home after the show.
I don't live with my mother.
Here one in Kevin, he have to go home after the show. I would not be responsible if the door is locked when he reach home by Miss Anna Soyer.
Yeah.
But I like that. I like the conversation. I like, listen, you see that what you tell me there? That woman finished sing that song and dance? That's staying with me.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's staying with me. I still find that was so awesome. But and that is what motivated you.
Yes.
So even if she didn't like the comedy, I mean, everybody had their likes and dislikes.
Exactly.
And again, you define her character as a more conservative person. So she liked the spoken word. She probably find that more meaningful. You're going on a stage and you're telling jokes.
And it's where the jokes going.
Exactly. And as I say, he just hit hard. Exactly. You understand?
I've heard him, seen him perform and stuff. Yeah.
But everybody know your business, boy.
I've seen him do stuff. I have worked with theater,
Oh, nice.
Theater has been one of my greatest things as a drummer, not so much dance and choir and stuff, yes, but the drummer for theater in Trinidad and Tobago was me, Lilliput Children's Theatre. I'm a drummer for Lilliput Children's Theatre.
Yeah, that's
the Derek Walcott's, the theatre on the whole, Everald and all these people. I have been the drummer for them for years.
Yeah.
Nice. So watching you from behind this.
Man watching you.
Well, I want to have a moment like how but his mom calling him and saying she want anything and she want to get involved now. Eventually, probably at some point, my mom will come around.
This is what we're telling you, because you're young in the thing and you're going good, right? You just continue. Redman, you know, we like to talk about the good times in family. Not that I'm asking it a bear to wash your dirty linens in public on the show. But I think we all would have had run-ins with our parents. We all would have had that. And these things, you learn. As bitter as it might be, we could always look back and talk about the occasion because it helps us to know the person better. Or you could say, but back then I and mommy never used to talk, whatever. You could recall any such instances between you and your mother that some kind of bitter blood passed?
Friction.
Yeah.
Mostly it was, now when I started to play drums was block drumming in Trinidad.
Block drumming?
Where you have people liming on a block.
Right.
And drums on the block. So I was on a block in Belmont, Barton Lane, Leon Hill, where there were drums.
Right.
You understand?
So that was the vibes on the block?
That was the vibes on the block, and my mother was totally against that. And there were times when I would want to come out and go and lie with my friends in the night, and she didn't want me to go. And I remember one night, we had a little altercation. I was going out there. I wanted to go bingo. They used to have bingo on a Friday night.
Yeah.
And she called with me and didn't want me to go. And I remember I was about 18 years at the time, probably 18, 19, and tell my mother, I ain't no big man, but I ain't no little boy. What's in that, man? So
you're bigger.
I make me noise, and I still went.
You went against her wishes.
Were you making joke? When I come back, the door lock.
Very
I jump over the fence and I go in the garage and I sleep there. Plain man, I tell you. The next day, the neighbor called she and tell she, if it was me, I'd have boxed him in the mouth. Damn fast.
Proper.
Well, I felt some good big stone on the house tonight. But it made me realize then when I became a parent myself, what was my mother's focus. Now, here what happened. When you're out there, your mother, your parent doesn't know what you're going and get yourself in.
True.
But all that mindset is, look, that is trouble, that is block, men lining, men smoking. The police go come, they go beat him up, they go lock him up, this, that. That is what my mother would have seen.
And most
That's
parents,
what any mother would have seen.
I think so.
And she didn't want that. As I said later on, when she realized I ain't really up to no bad and I'm getting involved and motivating other brothers on the block and stuff, worked out. But we had a little tussle where that was concerned over the years.
Specifically the drum.
Yes.
But remember too, it could be that, as I said, your father died at age 13.
Yes.
So she's mommy and daddy.
Right.
So she protecting you. But we know the drum back then.
The stigma of the drum.
And the stigma of the drum.
Exactly.
Right? And all of that in the mix.
Yes. Was here too, I am now a follower of the Orisha way of life.
Right.
My mother is Catholic. I grew up in the Catholic Church. Acolyte, Legion of Mary, all these different things.
Nice.
So, my mother having to swallow the fact that I going to be a part of Shango. With this, I'm not in that. She would always say, I am a Catholic. You know, and...
Nothing wrong with that.
Yes, but again, she realized then that, I remember I light my candle at night and I kneel down in front of my little shrine, my little stool. And I say my prayers.
Kevin watching.
Right, and I kneel down and I say my prayers and I prostrate in front of my Orisha. And when my mother see that, she called me and tell me, she said, I like what you're doing. You're giving
she told you that?
Okay. I was expecting it to go a different direction.
Yes, I was looking,
Well, in the old days, it had a little quarrel. But she said, you're giving yourself to your God.
To your God. And I like that.
It wasn't nothing bad. So, after that pulling
but that's a different mother. All the talk you're talking, that is a different mother because, listen, even today, there are mothers who would say, hey, not in my house, get outside here with that.
No, but you see here what happened. Don't mind, it wasn't that. But after a while, when she realized I ain't giving up, I make my choice. And as I said earlier, I ain't getting myself in no trouble. I stick with that. I play my drum, I play my pan, I focus, I go in practice, I praying.
Yeah,
I'm doing what I have to do. It is a different way, yes. But when she look at the focus that, again, I grew up in town, in Belmont. And you're looking at ghetto life, and so many people that she would have known, so many people that she would have known, their sons get themselves in trouble, who get locked up, and that wasn't happening to me. So I want to believe that probably my mother sat down and realized to herself, well, look, it can't be that bad. I accept it, or even if she accepts it, she ain't gonna show me.
Right.
But she settled down in the sense that she gave me leeway to do what I had to do.
Yeah, she gave you that freedom.
Yes.
And Kevin, well, I know you spoke about being in church morning, noon, and night. And that was Mommy's way of keeping a tight rein.
Yeah.
And the only way she knew how.
Yes.
That was her way of keeping her children. A young woman in her 20s, you said, with about, what, 4 children?
Yeah, well, yeah.
At that time?
At that time, yeah.
Right. So, and that's plenty. And she have to keep you all on a tight grip. So church, was there any period of time where you felt, oh gosh, like your freedom is being taken away? You just have to, you're bogged down. Church morning, noon and night, oh gosh, boy. Was there any friction between Mommy and Kevin in terms of, I don't want to do this, I don't want to go to church? Because I remember as a little girl sometime, I want to go to church.
Right.
Right?
What happened was with church, because we developed such a family there, friends and everything, we had a strong church identity. So it was like a home. And also the pastor, because we had a long-standing pastor for a long period of my growing up in adolescence and everything. And so he was almost a constant figure. He was like a constant figure, and my mother would trust him a lot and everything. And so I didn't resent being in church at that point in time, but I did come to resent being in church closer towards 15,
the adolescent age,
right? And it was because of certain things that would happen. So I started there's an instance, so hope Mommy don't mind me telling the story.
Mommy,
but we being real, we talking about mothers and everything, right? So there's a moment
Mommy, we beginning up.
We being real.
Warrior is a real woman, so they should to be real.
Yeah, so there was an instance where now I have a younger brother. My younger brother, did something in the church that wasn't so honest, let me say, right? So you come from not so great means, and you experienced deprivation and a lot of different things, right? So he did something that wasn't so honest. A child at the time, right? I'm a little older than him. And so somebody told my mom went straight to the pastor and, tell the pastor everything. So it was out in open what happened. And that was a Saturday, and it was dealt with, right? As a mother, that's what she felt she should do. And she always entrust all our business to him, tell him everything, Sunday morning comes, and he in the heat of the moment, and he preaching and everything, he want to thing and whatever. Yes. So all of a sudden, he starts to hear out what took place. And now he's pointing at my little brother. Now there's a big church. It's a big church. Well, in Trinidad, kind of big church. Projector screen, camera, upstairs, downstairs, overflow downstairs, whatever. And he called my little brother up in front of the whole congregation to see what he did, right? So my little brother frightened, nervous, shaking a little child. And this man asked my little brother where he learned to do that from. And of course, the little child panic and say me. Now, I was a child that, listen, I never had bad behavior. My problem was always my mouth. I will always get trouble for my mouth, but not for bad behavior. He didn't get from me, honestly, but he say me because he panicked. Yeah. So he pastor called me up. So I up there, my little brother up there, and he pastor going off, and he this and that. And he's a father to the fatherless, and he's our father figure and whatever. Tell my little brother to take off his belt in front of our church, and my little brother fighting, what's going on here? People cheering and things in the audience, the mothers in the church, yes, pastor, use their father. And proceed to beat my little brother. Turn to me now and want to, do the same thing. And I say, well, I didn't do anything. This is not right, whatever. And the people saying, don't be disrespectful. Put your hand. Put my hand, he wanted me some lashes or whatever. And my mother was there clapping too, audience. I just look around waiting for somebody to come and be like, no, that's my child. We're not having this. Never happened. And in that moment, I feel like if the curtain get pulled back, and I felt like if I was in a facade, I felt like if it was a show and a performance, and this person didn't care about me and whatever. Right. My bigger brother now, who was always our father figure, he was steaming. He couldn't wait to go up to the pastor and tell him, don't ever come around my brothers and them again, whatever. He more defended us. But my mom was so involved in this, and how she trusted this person so very much that she let that happen. And I felt like at that point in time,
she had let you down.
Yeah, I felt like my mom, she betrayed me, and I felt like if the church betrayed me, and I felt like if this quote-unquote father figure betrayed me, and yeah, that is when I became a bit like, yeah, I don't want to be part of this. But before that, no, I didn't really have that kind of feeling. And I realized that was a point of resentment for my mom a little bit. Right. But with a bit of maturity, I realized she just really trusted this person.
Yes.
She trusted him a lot. And she's come back we had conversations about it, and now we're on the same page with it. But back then, think about it, you just really trust this person. And so,
again, as you said earlier, she did the best she could with what was available. Yeah. So for her, that is, as you said, she trusted this person, and she really needed support. She needed support.
Yes.
And she said, look, okay, this person is really looking out for my kids. And, well, I could say no. I don't know the pastor personally, but I don't think that was the best move. No. But again, he probably felt so. You see, we just all feel we're doing what's best, you know. But I like how you could talk about it now and to say that you all spoke about it after, right? And let bygones be bygones.
Yeah.
And this is important. Rather than move with the resentment, you talk about it.
Yeah.
You talk about it so that we could go forward.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, and overcome it.
Of course.
And overcome it.
And that's what is important. That is indelibly written in your mind. I don't think you will forget that.
Nah, but it's important. We had a communication now with age and everything, and I realized this, and at the end of the day, my mom was a woman and a human being.
Of course.
And you gotta think, sometimes as younger people and trying to just think, you know, you're a parent, you also know what to do all the time, but she's
Superwoman.
Human. Yeah, she's human, and you know, I see her more like that now. When my brother and them could leave my little niece and nephew with me for 5 minutes, I was like, how my mother could I be a parent? These trying not listening to me at all. I don't understand how somebody could. And my mother had 5 young.
5 children at a young age.
And not for 5 minutes.
Not for 5. So I surprised, like, yeah, I have so much respect for it. But yeah, as I mentioned, I was a child. I always used to, because I felt my mouth was messy with my mom, and it wouldn't be that I was wrong or doing anything bad, but I would.
That's just your personality.
I wouldn't back down because I know right is right, wrong is wrong, and this is the rule in the house, and you should not be coming and just telling me because I said so. We have a rule. If the dishes was to wash and so on, so how you come and tell me to just and my brother right there not doing that. I'm that kind of one, like whatever. The other ones, they get licks for being bad. I will get licks because I you know.
Your mouth too hot.
My mouth.
Your mouth
too hot.
You're giving mommy opposition.
Giving her opposition.
Kevin, and you're still the same.
And
way.
she was very a little bit. You know, we talk about her sometimes that I am the same. She more changed than me. She had to evolve a bit and realize she couldn't be. But some things hasn't changed because my mom have this kind of. My mother has a feel safe in all of her children, where you know she would ever since we were small. If you were still fighting, even to now, if you are big adults, if we ranting and raving or arguing or whatever, my mother says this. No, this is 100% true, mommy. I'm giving out your secret. When she find we arguing with her, arguing with each other, whatever, she'd always say, as for me and my house, and we have to say, we will serve the Lord. Anything we do, we have to stop it and say that. And she'll say it 3 times. And she'll say it 3 times higher and higher, right? So, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Good, peace be still. And she done.
That means what I say goes, I the boss.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So up to whatever
that's a
age,
way of keeping the home in control.
And she could do that now. We can turn whatever age. She is doing any time she finds. She have
pull to order, man.
If I could put in something
of
here.
Of course, put in something.
When I was that age after my father died, here what I missed the most. Growing up 15, 16, 17, when you're a young fella coming out and becoming a man. That male figure, that father figure to guide you when you make your mistakes and lay no boy things. So I didn't have that. And when I realized, okay, I didn't have it, so it was a struggle for me. I realized then that it was a struggle for my mother trying to be that, which would have been the same for him. And because you're a mother, and motherly things are there, the maternal thing, and the mother is usually the one to be there for you.
Even though women play the role of both, they cannot replace.
No. So she had to struggle to be that.
Yes.
To be that because, I mean, I going to tell you this, I grew up in a house, I grew up any time when you're getting licks. I don't know, for some reason, I prefer my father to beat me than my mother. Now, my father was big. He was a seaman. He used to work on the sea.
Right.
Which made it even before he died a little tough because my father used to work a week on, a week off.
Right.
He gone for a week. And he home for a week. So my mother, even then, was that mother and father role. And sometimes when he come home, she go tell him all the little wrong we do, whatever, and he go put a little cocktail on you. But somehow I prefer for my father to beat me.
You prefer to get licks from your
father.
Yeah, what mommy beat you.
Yes, because that one would hurt. Because again, that mother is that loving figure, that whatever. And it was nice, which is with all mothers, she will beat you now, and the next minute she have them open arms.
Yeah, boy, they come and talking normal, eh?
Yeah, as if, you know what I mean. So again, what I say is that, which I realize is the same with his mother. You're that mother. But you have to fight unexpectedly to be the man for your son now.
Yes.
And it could have never been an easy role. No. And this is why I laud and applaud my mother.
And I applaud all mothers, not just the mother of Everald, Redman. He called me Redman, eh?
Nobody the world calls me Redman.
The world calls him Redman. So not just the mother of Redman and Kevin Soyer. We applaud all mothers, and it's a very interesting conversation. All mothers out there, all mothers, we applaud you. So, well, I know you have a wife.
Yes.
So I get in there now with the mommy's boy thing. You know, in Trinidad, maybe the world, I don't know, by talking about Trinidad, we love to call men who up underneath their mother and who are, everything is mommy, mommy. You're a mommy's boy, or you're a mommy's boy. A lot of relationships go into problems because everything is the mother are fed up. Were you ever accused of being a mommy's boy?
Not really, because I was always a soldier out there.
Own way?
No, yes, but trust me, I was a mommy's boy too, you know, because don't come wrong my mother. And I would have that little soft spot. Even I would tell you, as you mentioned, my wife as well. My mother died in 2010.
Okay, just recently.
Right? It was just so December gone was 10 years since she died.
Well.
Yes. My wife's mother, Mommy, right? She was Dorothy Belgrove. When I met my wife, Mommy became like a mother too, because that was my girl.
Nice.
When I go down there, we go line. Redman boy, I had thing to tell you. And she go complain and say we could talk, we could communicate.
Right.
So it was always leaning towards them because they could understand me. But I wouldn't say always a mommy boy to, you know, much up on her mommy and looking for that little place to hide and hold and for mommy to make excuse, because my mother wasn't that. My mother ain't gonna make no excuse and so forth. For me, if I do wrong, I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
She tell me like it is. So I wasn't basically a mommy's boy, but I was always, I always had the issue where I could sit down and talk to her, my mother-in-law.
Nice.
I could sit down and talk to her.
You had that relationship with the feminine energy, man.
Yes,
I like
when
that.
I look at it with my wife, with her children right now.
Same thing.
That's the boss.
Yeah, but
it
Kevin
have the little friction and stuff, but she's the boss.
Kevin, you have a girlfriend?
Yeah,
answer me.
Not right now, but I've had the run-ins with my mom and girlfriends and stuff before.
And they call you mommy's boy?
Nah. In fact, in retrospect, all my mother's sons, the girlfriends will fear my mother, and with rightly so. My mother have a track record. My mother have a track record. My mother, the kind of mother will run it from she play. She will tell her, she sons, my sons, them is men and all, them is wolfing, sheep clothing and thing. Don't think
Don't get tired up with them.
Yeah, she would always be like that. She will put you out there faster, you know, and so it was always my mother would be the one to bust the line when you're liming by whoever. Don't go by, you know, and like how you sleep out. I sleep outside and thing too, because yeah, my mother say don't come in my house after a certain hour. And I at the point in time I done somewhere and you know thing.
So you get put out too?
She locked the door and thing, and I don't want to. I not she locked me outside, and I was outside supposedly for 3 days, but I used to climb through the window and go and get. Yeah. When she went to work, I think she knew too. She knew I wasn't just outside or somewhere, you know.
Right.
But when she went to work, I come back inside and thinking about that, and not on the couch in the gallery kind of thing in the night time and all kind of nonsense, because you're so wrong and strong and everything and whatever. Yeah, but you know, in retrospect, yeah, I should have. So I was never accused of being a mommy's boy, and I couldn't have. My mother would come and tell young ladies, if I see you nigh my dwelling place again, you shall surely die. Like she would tell us that. My mother has said that before. So how it is to be a mama's boy? How?
I told you all. I did tell you all I was going to have fun on this episode, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine a mother meeting a young woman and telling her, if you come near my dwelling place, you shall surely die. Kev.
No, to her credit, though, she is a darling now. Everybody love my mother now. Her grandchildren love her. They can't get enough of her. But we get the version of her that was different. No secular, nothing. No. So you talk about girlfriend, not even secular music. And your mama used to take your CDs and burn them. Not burn them because she want a copy. burn them.
Because you can't listen that in the house.
Nothing that is not of the Lord. Now, the grandchild might be singing something, or my little brother and they might be playing something. I'll be like, Mom, you know here, what going on? She, oh gosh, not the same as before.
Hey, they really say age does bring, yes.
You know,
yes.
I mean, she still have the same values. She still tries to impart them, but she's not, not fanatical. She could operate and she's, more comfortable to be around. And
and you have to take
and jealousy grandchild sometimes.
You have to take a different approach, Not that, as you said, she still have her values.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's a different generation. Yeah. You have to use a different strategy. You have to. So the way that mommy would have brought up child number 1, the last child is a different
story.
Different approach. Different times.
Different story.
Not, as I said, not that you're dropping the ball, the whole entire ball. You have your values still, but listen, you have to use a different approach. And she realized, if she continue with that, all send the woman sentence, so she had to ease up. She realized, hey boy, you see this thing?
Realize that eventually, and it doesn't mean she doesn't love you.
No, it's not that at all.
Like what he said with his the mother. All right, imagine this: you're a mother and you bring up your son for years, and all of a sudden this girl come, like your son, and want to be a part of your son's life. After I work so hard and feed he and take care of he, who is you? Where you come from? I don't know you.
If you come now in my dwelling house,
my mother was the kind of one to. You come home in the house, whether it be to my sister or to me, whatever. As you see 8:30, my mother will come and start to close the window and look, hey, like the neighborhood want to sleep, boy.
She said in a message.
Yes. And if you still play a sister, now she say, I can't live in nowhere. But again, it was that protective energy, that maternal protective energy, because you ain't coming to turn my son's life upside down.
Yeah. And here now, they say when you hear parents sitting and they tell you, hey, forget our boy or forget our girl. Whatever they see.
Exactly.
They see the thing.
She was right about a 1 or 2,
Definitely.
Right.
And his experience.
She was on point at 1 or 2.
I could have skipped some of them, to be honest.
You didn't listen?
Nah, didn't listen. Didn't listen.
You find out for yourself?
Find out for myself.
Well, then you had to get your own experience too, eh?
Yes.
So let me tell you, the time, I can't believe, look at the time, but time does fly when you're having fun. So we just have about probably 5 more minutes. And I will reverse the thing. I'll ask Kevin first. What advice you have for young women out here, young mothers, those who are mothers and those who may become mothers, from a male perspective, what you would like to tell them?
I think it's important for young mothers to remember that their actions, their example, their behavior, they are, whether they mean to or not, they are influencing and impacting their children.
Correct.
Try and observe things and things stay with children sometimes. You have to be careful, as a mother, what you expose your kids to. And I would just advise them to be mindful of that, because some effects of some things are really, really lasting,
Irreparable.
And, I would also want them to get to know your kids as people get to know their likes, expose them to things, expose them, let them be individuals and get to know them and that kind of thing. Sometimes you could get clumped into just being, okay, I'm a trend, and you don't really pay too much attention to their gifts or their personalities and that kind of thing, you know? So I would definitely say that, but I don't think I have enough wisdom and understanding to advise mothers, to be honest. I didn't have it yet, but I get it.
But you're pulling from, your experience with your mother, that's good advice. Let me hear the master drummer. What
I would say to young mothers out there, they have a saying, what they meet you in pass you. And be careful of that.
Yes.
I have heard a lot of young mothers look at scenarios and things that happen, and their comments would be, that thing will happen to me.
Yeah.
That would never happen to me and my child. Aye.
What they meet you in pass you.
Now, take example from your mother.
Yes.
Whether it would have been a good example or a bad example. Take that example of what you want to do as well, or what you don't want to do for the thing to be the same.
Yes.
Because there's a saying that you make children where you don't make their mind. And you would bring up your child with certain principles and values and stuff like that. but they have their own mind when the time comes.
They choose.
I'm saying it like my brother here. Have an open mind.
Yes, have an open mind. Yeah.
You know, take your time. Know what you want for your children. As he said, which is very right. Your children, especially your daughters, watching you.
Yeah.
What you do, they're going to do. So be careful
and
of
we
how
see
you
it in society today.
And one more main thing is this. Always be willing to talk to your children.
Yes, have
to
that
your girl children, your boy
conversation.
children. Always be willing to be that listening ear. And not so much only quarreling, because our mothers may have made those mistakes.
All children that say the parents are
no, you go still quarrel.
Yeah.
You go still have that issue. But become a listening ear so that you could impart your experiences on them and see if it could help out.
Well,
and I want to choose the time to wish all mothers out there a very happy Mother's Day.
Yes, from now.
I'm begging. I'll be remiss if I don't say Janet Soyer, my grandmother. I have to give her acknowledgement and honor, and she's my hero. She like I didn't get into it now, but I got sick a while back, and my life had changed, and she is a big part of why I'm here today. A huge support, and what she does for our family and me specifically, she is everything.
She's
a tremendous woman. So I can't talk about mothers and talk about and do mention.
It's okay to mention Granny.
Have to mention Granny.
It's okay to
Granny
mention
Granny.
Have to mention Granny.
The first mother.
Yeah. Amazing woman.
Amazing woman.
Amazing woman.
It's okay.
Strong woman.
Yes, and that is what the family circle is about. That is what community is about. It's not just individualism, but it's auntie, it's big sister, it's grandmother, it's mommy. You know, and as I said, for the purpose of this show, we're looking at the feminine energy. We're looking at mothers for the purpose of this show. So there are those of you who ain't give birth to a child, but we know plenty of people like that, and they are mothers. They are taking care of children, you know. They are taking care of children. We have to honor them as well, because to nurture, you don't necessarily have to give birth to a child to nurture. To nurture a child.
To impart knowledge and experience.
Yeah? And I really look forward to the day when the society could come back to that point where a mother, the neighbor, walking in the road and could tell you, listen, what are you doing out here? Go home. Or what is that? School finish. Why are you still on the road? And they ain't get us.
When it could come back to that.
That's what I'm saying. I look forward to that. When it could come back to that. Without a child, without that elder being afraid of getting cussed.
By your mother, yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or the child.
Yeah.
Or the child, Redman.
As well, yes.
Or the child afraid of getting cussed by the mother or the child.
So, yes.
You know, and I look forward to that day. And you know what? It just wouldn't happen, you know. We have to cultivate.
We have to make it.
We have to bring it back.
Yes.
In our little circle, whether in the home, in the village, we have to bring it back. So,
because if I could just input one little thing before.
You have about 60 seconds.
There have times now where we had to tell parents and the elders good morning and good evening.
Yes.
Children don't do it now. And it is a touching issue, and people will tell you sometimes, but that is how it is in these times. I will tell people this, that is how it is in these times, because we have allowed it to happen.
Well, listen, sometimes depends on where I am. And if I make forward them and they watch me, I say, good morning, good morning, darling. Good morning.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, you tell them in a nice way so you
a
don't
lot
get
of
cussed.
us, a lot of us have allowed it to happen.
Yes.
So we had to grab that. Yeah.
You know? So, gentlemen, I would like to thank you on behalf of the Gael family.
A pleasure to be here,
I would like to thank you for being on the Feminine Drive. I really enjoy it.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, listen.
There's your baby too. You're a mother of this.
Of course. And a mother of 2 children, 2 carnal children, and a mother of this, and a mother of other things, you know. Right. But this was a special episode. You see that bee? You see that?
Well, look at the good vibes the bee brings.
Yeah. I don't know what this bee have with me, you know. Uncle Everald say, but listen, since you come in the studio, where this bee come out? Well, I want to say we kill it.
We
kill the bee tonight.
We kill the messenger.
We kill the bee, eh?
Yes.
Of course, I had to take a break, and Kevin was just... Listen to me.
It's a bless.
Amazing.
But we had fun. So thank you again, gentlemen.
Nice. Yeah, thank you.
And thank you to my viewers. I hope you enjoyed the episode as much as I do. You know, I really hope you enjoyed it. And stay tuned again. We have 2 more Fridays to go where we have the men coming in to talk about their mothers. Right? We have 2 more Fridays leading up to Mother's Day. So enjoy the rest of the Friday evening and stay positive. We go make it. Take care.